Well, I first heard Eminem's music at Jimmy Iovine's house. He just happened to have gotten Eminem's tape maybe a couple of days before. And he actually got it from an intern that used to work at Interscope. He popped it in and I heard it, and I thought it was incredible. At this time, I had no idea he was a white guy. I didn't find that out until a few days later. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? I really need to meet this guy. The first thing that we did was Hi, My Name Is. I had already prepared a sample that I thought he would sound great on. Immediately after I put it on, he just went, hi, my name is...
Like Pac came onto the scene in a good way.
Right.
All right, man. Let's talk about a little bit more of Eminem, man. I'm trying to fix my camera here. It's messing up.
Wow.
Right,
They got last thing, they got a side by side I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And she looks just like Lisa Ray. Man, shout out to Ethel Love though. She looks just like wow.
Yep.
You couldn't have told me anything different. Wow.
So Eminem is trudging through everything. He ends up signing to he has a group called New Jacks with Proof that they started in 92, man. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then they dropped the EP in 95 called with Proof. Then he would start getting down, and you may have known this. I'd heard this maybe a couple of years ago, but I didn't know he was kicking it with the Outsiders in New Jersey for a while.
That I did not know. Wow.
Yes, Eminem was.
Okay.
So Eminem was kicking with the Outsiders for a while. Then he signed to FBT Productions and drops the first album that people went back to check out, Infinite, in 96.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't do well. They said people were saying that. I mean, I remember I heard it. He does sound like AZ a lot of it. And it's like, oh my God, it's a white dude being AZ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get it's probably how people feel when they hear Action Bronson towards Ghostface.
Oh my God, he sounds just like Ghostface.
He does sound like Ghostface. So he went back to the drawing board because people are like, do you sound like Nas or AZ or somebody like that? So he went back to the drawing board, still grinding, still doing his thing, still winning battles at the shops, and his tape, the Slim Shady EP, first is the first thing. It gets in the hands of the Source Magazine's Unsigned Hype section.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have to just go back and to explain people Unsigned Hype. Unsigned Hype before previously was run by it wasn't Dave Mays, was it?
No, it was Maddie C, I think.
Maddie C, yes, because Maddie C left him with the Loud Records.
Yep, exactly.
Maddie C ran this, and it was basically people were sending their stuff, and you get a write-up, and they would say like, hey, this is the next guy coming. He's unsigned. He's not signed to any label. And people that have been through Unsigned Hype are Common, Biggie, Eminem. I believe who else has been in? I think those are the main big three that people would know.
Biggie was huge because Maddie C was the one that was responsible for getting Biggie's tape into Puffy's hands. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, so they have every one of them listed. Wow, this is awesome. Somebody did a great job with this. All right. Let's see. So let me see anybody that was big. DMX was on here in 91.
Okay, wow.
Who was top quality?
And when you check, for those of you listening and watching, when you check the Source magazine, that was one of the features that you would check. Who was that particular edition of the magazine's Unsigned Hype? And you would always want to see what the write-up was. But the thing about it was that even if you read the write-up on somebody like Big or Eminem, there was no place for you to like just go. There wasn't a link for you to click and find their music. You had to like physically go out and try to find it. So it was still like, it was still going to be a long shot, but at least they wanted to put those people on. So
I'm gonna give some other quick notable names. Saphir was on here with Common as well. Poetical Prophets, who is Mobb Deep.
Yep.
Artifacts, Mad Skills, known as Skills now. I mean,
Skills.
His Skills. Capone Noriega.
Okay.
J Live, David Banner.
Wow.
And then Eminem 98. Eminem's the last of the notables, and that was in March of 1998.
Okay.
I thought Natural Source was in it too, which was I can't remember if that was that or in the Vibe. That's Jean Grey's group, Natural Resource. I thought they got highlighted too. Maybe I could be tripping. Maybe I'm tripping because they're not listed on here. But so he gets on there. Now people are starting to ring him up. Everybody's ringing up Eminem, trying to get him. And then he goes to the 1997 Rap Olympics. So this is for your MCs of MCs event. I believe Skills won 1 year, or he beat the Supernatural, or he lost the Supernatural the year he won. I think Skills did win it though. I think the Rap Olympics the year he was in it. So he gets there. He comes in second. Eminem lost the Supernatural.
Okay.
In the finals in 97. So then it was an exec from Interscope that was there that got his tape in front of Jimmy Iovine, who then passed it on to Dr. Dre.
Okay.
At Aftermath. At first, Dr. Dre did not want to mess with him. He was like, dude, like, what do you? No, I'm not doing that. And he kept listening to him, and he was like, okay, this might work. So he brings him in. I believe 4 or 5 of the songs from the Slim Shady EP that were brought on ended up going onto the opus that we first hear called the Slim Shady LP that drops in 1999. Goes crazy, triple platinum. The big song, Hi, My Name Is, goes crazy. And the man at Eminem, as we know today, blasts off and becomes everyone in their household name. All right. So what do you think about this scenario for Eminem? Because Eminem, like, people can say what they want. He may not be making great music now, but to think that he started in 91 grinding, 88 grinding it out. Was it the Outsiders in New Jersey, in the Chicago, in the hip hop shop, signed Unsigned Hype? He went through vacillate through all your levels that you would say that this MC had to go through to become somebody. Do you think he would be as big without Dre?
No.
And also, he was on those Bad Meets Evils as well with Royce the 5'9". They were doing those as well right before that.
No, obviously, he would not have been as successful, I think, had he not met and been produced by what the hell is that? Is that mine or yours?
That's
the thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is this going on?
Well, go ahead. Kyle.
Okay, you got to record?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Damn, I forgot. What was the question?
Yeah, so I would say, do you think that Dre would have been as big without
if Eminem would have been as big?
Would have been big without Dre.
No, because I think meeting Dr. Dre changed everything for him. Dr. Dre at that particular time obviously was going through a huge transition, leaving Ruthless and starting Aftermath. Leaving Death Row because he'd already left Ruthless. So it was a big change for him. And as we all know, he left Death Row basically with nothing. Didn't have his catalog or anything like that, publishing, all of that good stuff. So it was just like, it was just him. And, he didn't have a roster of artists to come with him. So he took a huge gamble on Eminem.
He did have one.
Who do you have? Oh, Snoop.
RBX.
Okay. What? Damn. Because wait a minute, Snoop. Well,
no, Snoop was trapped on Death Row.
Yeah, he was. Okay.
Because because No Limit came right after that.
He can't. You're right. So he had RBX, but that was it. So he didn't have anybody. He didn't have a household name he really stepped out on his own, really and truly. And so, the idea of trying to, get it started with a guy that this white rapper from Detroit that nobody never heard of, who's dope. It was a gamble. It was a gamble for Dre. It was a gamble for Eminem.
One more thing. We forgot a big group that he had before Eminem on that.
Who's that?
The Firm.
Yeah, but they did that album. That was it though. That was
But they were technically signed to Aftermath, the firm one.
But you know, but Rakim was signed after. It's a whole. It's quite a few people that was signed to Aftermath.
No.
Never
that
came
list
out.
of people. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a podcast.
That's a whole nother, all the what ifs of everyone on Aftermath. Actually, I gotta write that down.
Listen, that list is long, and that's an all-star list of rappers and singers and stuff. But yeah, it was interesting, man, because it's like, you know, you just don't know how it's going to go. And to gamble on, or take a chance, I shouldn't say gamble, but take a chance on Eminem says a lot about Dr. Dre. And it also says a lot about Eminem because the talent was there. You just don't know it. And I think if he had not gone to Dr. Dre, we would have probably never heard of him.
Okay, all right. I just went to the roster of former artists. Eve was on there before Eminem too.
Oh yeah, I know Eve was
about Eve of Destruction.
Mm-hmm. Eve of Destruction. Yep.
King T. And this one I forgot all about. Don Robinson was signed there first in '97. So nobody came out. Only people that came out was the firm and then Eminem. For anyone who want to keep a scorecard. As much as all those MCs I said and artists that I mentioned to come out. But so Eminem drops. When did you get hip to Eminem? When did you first hear Eminem?
Probably, I think I may have heard a song or two here or there on like a Clue tape. Shout out to the Clue tapes. But I don't think I really heard him and actually sat and listened to him until the first album came out. And I was like, you know, I wasn't really sure because my first memory of him was Hi, My Name Is. And and that wasn't even on his first album, was it?
Yeah, it's on his first album.
Okay. So that was the first thing. So I was like, Hi, My Name Is sounded cheesy. It sounded corny. And then what you could see was it was starting to build, and once it got on MTV, the video, it was a rap.
Yep.
Like, and so it's just like, I was like, man, look at this shit right here. Like, they got this white boy and they're putting him on MTV. He ain't really rapping on this song. He's being silly. He's being goofy. Yep. And so I'm like, I kind of pushed it off as, what is this? This is like supposed to be a cool Vanilla Ice. But the only thing that kept me from totally dismissing him altogether was the fact that he was connected with Dre. And I was like, well, why would Dre be rocking with this novelty act? And so I had to kind of think a little bit deeper, like, you know, is he good or not? Because this Hi, My Name Is, I hate that song. Like, I
hate it to this day.
Yeah, to this day. I won't play it. If it comes on TV or something, I change the channel. But then once I heard a couple other songs from the album, I was like, oh, he can rap. Like, he ain't bullshit. Like, he can really, really go. And I flipped my opinion of him. I just like, I was like, oh, this he's legit. So it just really took off from there. But that was my first introduction. The Hi, My Name Is probably the first song that I heard that I was like, oh.
What if DLC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the Game never leaves G-Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.